Hey everyone, welcome to Creative Literacy with Mari Clark. So I'm kind of renaming my channel and it's still going to be under Mari Clark, but my title is going to be Creative Literacy. So I'll talk about that a little bit as you watch me creating my Project Life spread for May. So I feel like I'm actually kind of catching up on my Project Life. I've made it all the way up to the 5th month of the year, kind of a moral victory. Definitely far behind with my Project Life. So just trying to catch up and working on this spread for May. So most of the products that I'm going to be using are from a variety of Studio Calico kits. And this one, I think most of the cards are from the May kit, but I definitely use a whole bunch of other stuff mixed in there. So that very first card, the May 2015 title, was a chipboard piece, and I just used some Heidi Swap peach colored mist on it as a color shine and colored it kind of an orangey color just to give it a bit of color that blends in with kind of the color theme for this spread. So I'm just working on a little 4x3 card there, and the color scheme is definitely oranges, blues, pink, and I forget what else, gold, I guess gold accents, but we'll see as I go through here. So one of the things that happened in our world in May and continued into June was my husband renovated our main bath on our main floor of our house. And that bathroom had not been painted, had not had anything done to it since we built our house 18 years ago. So let me just say that it was very much overdue. And we had a jetted tub in there, I guess, that needed to be replaced. And so that was kind of a major one because it obviously had to be taken out in pieces. And we put in a new tub surround and a new tub and all that kind of stuff. So my husband is a woodworker. He actually manufactures cabinet doors. So it was kind of nice, right? I got some pretty nice cabinets in there and stuff. So yeah, it looks really good. So that's what he was working on in May and June on the weekends. So we finally got that done. So it was good to get that off our to-do list. This next card that I'm working on is another 4x3 card. So I'm working on a 9x12 page layout here. So it's got 2 4x6 cards and then the rest are 4x3. And this is a Studio Calico album, and I'll show you the layout when I'm all finished here. So this one, I'm just working on a picture of one of my colleagues that I've worked with probably for, I would say 25 of the 28 years that I've been a teacher. I've worked with her, and I actually took her place when she retired as the guidance counselor at the school, but it was really, really sad to see her go because we've been really, really good friends, taken family vacations together with their sons the same age as our son, and just really, really good friends. So anyways, we had a big get together of all the women on staff at one of my other colleagues, and this is a picture from that. So I just wanted to document that for the month of May as well, just as one of the fun things that we did that month. And some of those, I think a lot of the chipboard pieces that I use here are from the Studio Calico kit. I don't get that kit anymore because I found like I wasn't keeping up with using the stuff. And obviously I'm still not because I haven't gotten a kit since May. And I'm just, trying to use up those kits. But they are really, really nice kits. I do highly recommend them because they're really different. There's a lot of really different stuff in there. You get some really cool stamp sets with the kits and just really nice products. So I was very impressed with my kits, but I just, like I said, I couldn't keep up with them. So I'm an empty nester. My kids are gone from home. I don't have any grandkids yet. So I definitely don't take as many photographs. So I don't, for the month of May, I'm only going to have 2 double page spreads maximum. And the reason why I'm even going to have 2 is because at the end of May, my nephew and his wife had a baby. And so the second double page spread I'm going to be doing is documenting that. And I probably won't film that because it's got, pictures of the baby and that. I don't know if they really want that on YouTube, but I definitely will be scrapping that. So I'm just working on this one here is just telling a story about spring. I think this card maybe is just talking about gardening in spring, and how we plant our vegetable garden in the springtime. And I really love spring. It's my favorite season, and I think largely because we have such long winters in Saskatchewan, and it's just such a beautiful season of rebirth and hope of what's to come in the next season and seasons to come and so on. And I just really, really love spring. And so a lot of the pictures in this layout are from my yard during springtime, and the different trees that come out and bloom and so on. And I thought I had actually had some pictures of us planting the garden, but I couldn't find them on my computer, so not really sure. Anyways, so most of the photographs are just of the different things, like some of my flowers, and I always get rose bushes in the spring from the greenhouse, the beautiful the bushes that you don't plant them out because they don't withstand they're not in the right zone to withstand our winters, but I winter them in my garage because my garage is heated. So anyways, I always end up getting a new one in the spring. So I have pictures of that here too. But this is an ornamental tree that we have in our yard, and it blooms these most beautiful blossoms in the spring. So I just wanted to document that. And this weekend, my husband took down our fence in the backyard because it needed to be replaced. And he's kind of talking about not replacing it. So I'm thinking that if we do end up planting some trees back there, I would like some more of this tree because it's really, really beautiful and it's hardy. It grows really fast, and it does have just these really, really beautiful blossoms on it in the spring. So another one of the things I really like about those Studio Calico kits is you get a whole bunch of little word strips and phrase strips that coordinate with the colors in the kit. And those are always very, very handy to have when you're doing Project Life, because there's always those little spots on your Project Life cards where you just want that little something to fill in a spot. So I do find those to be really super handy. So this is just some more pictures of that tree, and that vellum did not come from the kit. That's from the Kiss Kiss line from Crate Paper from way back in Valentine's Day. And I had that scrap in my scrap drawer. So I love that paper, and I thought it would look really nice on this layout. So now I think that 6x4 card was in the kit too, but I'm just going to use some of these pieces that I found in my stash I think they're from a hip kit that I hadn't used up. That's one of the things I love about Project Life, besides the fact that you're documenting so many stories in Project Life that I probably would miss on 12x12. And that's that you get to use up so much stuff from your stash, right? So you're documenting great stories, things that you wouldn't necessarily put onto a 12x12 layout, and you are using up all those little bits and pieces. And I find that that's another really great thing about my Fauxbonichi, is that I'm using up all kinds of stickers and sequins and all sorts of things that I don't use that much, or I haven't been using up. Another thing I really like about that Fauxbonichi is just using the stamps. And stamps that I haven't used for a long time are finally getting used, which is good. This is a picture of the rose tree of China that I have in my yard, and it is so pretty in the spring. It just has the most beautiful blossoms on it. So I got some really good close-up pictures of the blossoms for this layout as well. And I think I have a few pictures, if I recall, on the layout of that tree in the spring. So it's just so gorgeous. The only problem with it is that they don't last that long, but of course then it leaves out and it's got beautiful foliage after those blossoms are gone. So it is a really, really pretty tree. And I'm just taking those chipboard hearts too are from Studio Calico, and just taking and putting on a few little bits and pieces of embellishments on there. So yeah, I'm just writing about that tree and how much I love it. And I suppose a really nice thing too about documenting all of that is if we ever do leave this house and we want to plant trees in the future, it'll be nice just to have that all written down and recorded, what kind of plants in that we did have in this yard, although I don't think I would forget, but I guess you never know, right? 50 slippage and all. Anyways, this one that's the tree as it's just kind of starting to bloom. So it's just kind of getting the odd little bloom on it. And yeah, then it just gets absolutely loaded after that. So gorgeous. This one is a picture of my American Beauty rose, and that was a new one this year. I think I had, this year I think I had yellow and pink were the colors that I had. And next year I think the one that I ordered I think is maybe orange and pink, like all in the blossoms are orange. I think they're orange with pink tips or something like that. And I can't remember what it's called, but they're so pretty. I just love them. And so I'm just going to write that this is my American Beauty. And I think that this was the first blossom that was on it. And I do like to cut them and make a rose bowl with the odd blossom for sure, because usually they're just loaded with blossoms. And so one little flower is not going to be missed, right? So I usually like to bring one inside. I have peonies in my yard too, which are also, of course, very, very beautiful, but for a limited time only, right? Like basically by the end of June, that's it. Your peonies are finished, and you do have the beautiful foliage after that, but the flowers are pretty much done blooming. So this is another one of the Studio Calico cards, and I wasn't really crazy about that phone. So I think I end up covering up that phone with a sticker or something like that, or maybe a chipboard piece. And I'm just documenting on there again how spring is my favorite season. And a lot of people really like fall. For a lot of people, fall is their favorite because they like the fall colors, and it is quite a nice season also. However, I would say that it's not my favorite season because fall only reminds me that the next season is winter, and that is not my favorite season. In fact, it's my least favorite. So, but I mean, to each his own, whatever, right? But I do not like winter. I really dislike it a lot, and I spend a lot of my time commuting to work in the winter. And when the roads are bad, it is not fun at all. And let me just say, I have driven over some really nasty roads in the 28 plus years that I've been driving to work. So I really love those Webster's Pages cut aparts that I've gotten with some of the different pattern paper from Webster's Pages over the years, or over the last year and a half. And that I actually haven't really used a whole lot of the cut aparts. And so today I thought, you know what, I should go in there and see if there's something that would look really pretty with these flowers. And sure enough, there was lots in there. So I need to get digging those out too and using them up because there's some really pretty stuff in there. And these stickers also from the Webster's Pages collections are great and very, very pretty. So I ended up using those on quite a few of the different cards on this spread as well. So that was good. It was good to get those used up. And those little Amy Tan stickers that we got in one of our hip kits, I still have not really made a dent in those yet. There's so many of them. So I'm trying to get those onto my Project Life too, and into my Fauxbonichi, because that's another really great spot for those, right? So any place that you can get using up all of those little bits and pieces is fantastic. So this narration is just about done for the voiceover. I'm just about to the last card in the layout, and then I am going to do a share of the layout and show you my Fauxbonichi, but I'm actually not going to use a voiceover for that. I just recorded it live. So I'm just about at that point. So I just wanted to let you know that that's coming up. So this is my last card, And what I did was I took the picture of the rose bowl and I just fussy cut around the edge of the rose bowl for that one. And that is, again, that's one of those American Beauty blossoms, and it's super gorgeous. You can see that it's just about ready to completely and fully open up. And I just love that flower. It was so beautiful. So that's about it for this narration. So I'm going to be live here in a few seconds. So thanks so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. See you soon. Hi guys, I'm just going to share with you my finished Project Life layout here for today. So this is my layout. I'm hoping it's not too much of a glare on there with that light, but so the title, as I explained in my voiceover, was just the chipboard title, and that was in the Studio Calico kit. Sprayed it with the Heidi Swap Peach Color Shine. You know, these are really, really simple to create. I don't spend a ton of time on the cards, but because there's so many of them, it does end up taking a fair bit of time, all told, all of the cards put together. But it's so much fun. There's some great documenting that can happen with your project life. So that's one of the reasons why I really love it, is because I feel like I tell much more of a story with my project life than I do with my 12 by 12. I feel like the 12 by 12 is more of just like the snapshots, and then this gets into more of the details of the different events. So I do like it. I like the project life a lot, actually. And I think it's, really enjoy doing both, because it's kind of like the best of both worlds sort of thing. So this spread for May is documenting the different plants in my yard and the flowers and that kind of thing, which I really, really love spending time working with in the summer. So that's how it all came together. And the colors were pinks and blues and oranges, and all with basically with Studio Calico kits, kind of a combination. And okay, then the other thing I wanted to share was I had a request to share my Fauxbonichi process. And this is a moleskin, and I'm not 100% sure of the size. You know, A5, A4, A6, whatever. I'm not 100% sure what this size is, but you can kind of get a sense on the screen there how big it is. So if I were to compare it to another moleskin that I have, I've got this bigger one but it's got the blank pages in it. Okay, so I've started out with this one, and I like it. I like the format of that one. I like it because it's got the grid paper in it. And what I do with it is I measure off, I go 6 squares at the top here, and then I divide this top section off into smaller sections, and that can be whatever, you know, whatever you want it to be, right, for sizes. So this one on this particular spread I have for the date, it was the 7th of September, the year, and the weather. And on this one, I have some stamps and stickers and stuff that I'm using up there. And I section off this one, it's 14 by 14 squares on my grid paper to create kind of like a little section there. And then this is all open space for journaling. And then the bottom section for gratitude, the gratitude section is just 6 grid lines down there. Okay, so really, really basic setup. And what I've done is I've taken this paper and I just have all my lines on it so that I can just go through my book and quickly put those grid lines markings on and mark them off. Okay, and I just want to give a shout out to Adele Toomey and Mouse Potato Designs on YouTube for learning about how to set up my Fauxbonichi, or at least getting me started And, you know, you don't have to set it up this way, but this is a really popular setup that you see lots of people using. And I really like that. Someone else asked about, the same person asked about where I get my prompts from. And so far I've gotten the prompts that I've used from Pinterest. And on this day, the prompt was smells that remind you of your childhood, which I thought was kind of a cool one. So yeah, it's fun. There's, you know, you can do however much you want with it, however little you want with it. You can use stamps, you can use stickers, you can draw. I mean, really, the sky's the limit. What I did with mine was I washi taped 2 pages together so that the pen doesn't bleed through. But I have found some pens that don't bleed, which is nice. And the ones that I have found like that, the ones that I really like, I just keep all my Fauxbonichi stuff in this basket. And it's really nice to have, you know, little planner stickers or, you know, all kinds of little stamps and so on that you can use. And I'm finding I'm using up a lot of my stash that I maybe wouldn't normally have used. These pens are probably my favorite. They're the high-tech Point V5s from Pilot. And I think you can get them from most office stores. The university where my kids went to school, actually where I went to school, has a really great bookstore that sells these pens, and that's where I get them from all the time. But I've got them in quite a few different colors, and I really like them. And I've got a lot of the Jelly Roll pens from Sakura, and they're fantastic. So if you've had some of those in your stash for a while, now's the time. If you feel like you're going to do some journaling, it's a great way to use up those things. And then I just have some normal Crayola crayons in there, and I've also got my Inktense pencils now that I'm going to be using in my journal. And that's about it, guys. So have fun with your Fauxbonichi if you decide to get into that. And yeah, just go crazy with it. Have a good time journaling. See you. So I just wanted to explain the title Creative Literacy, which is the title that I've chosen for my channel now at this point. And so I've spent the last 30 years helping kids with their literacy, and I really love the idea of working the title into the title, the word creativity. So I felt like creative literacy was one way of explaining how I feel about this creative venture on YouTube. So that's a little bit of an introduction to the title for my channel. Bye.